there's like it's kind of like pushing into areas of uncomfortability, like choosing a platform in which to create something unique is a really, really challenging thing to do nowadays because like so many things have been done. But the 190 is a really interesting platform car because you see it, you recognize that it was a great race car. Well, we wanted to take it to a whole nother level.
Hello, everybody. I am Kaching Song, Autodesk Fusion Community Manager, and I'm hosting this episode of Shop Talk. And it's a podcast series where we get really nerdy and talk to creators, inventors, builders, designers from shop to shop. And today, we're talking about cars. And we've got Rob, Alex, well, actually on camera is Alex, Rob, and Elvis. And they are a custom automotive fabrication design shop in near Vancouver, BC, Canada. And they've worked on a range of cars from a 1928 Bentley blower to a fully converted electric G-Wagon, which I had the pleasure of seeing in person, which was crazy. Rob is the co-founder of TrickFactory Customs. Alex is the design engineer. And Elvis, you are the content and media manager. Guys, welcome to the show.
Sweet.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
we're honored to be on this podcast and have a conversation.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've watched your podcast too, and it's always a blast learning, everything you guys do. Yeah, this is great. So I guess to really start off, you guys, let's talk about the origin story. Like, how did Trick Factory Custom start? Tell us about that.
All right. All right. I mean, it goes back a long ways. So I was an art student,
Hmm.
and my co-founder, Tim, who unfortunately is not here today, he's a lot more kind of like the car guy, like it's in his blood. And we came together and when we were young, right out of high school. And when we kind of moved down to the lower mainland BC from our small town where we grew up, we kind of just decided that this is something that we wanted to do. It was kind of like from day one, we want to build custom cars. So we kind of like had to sort of figure out, okay, well, what's our path? Like, I mean, what do we got to do? We saw in a lot of magazines, like print media was huge back in those days. Like, I'm going back a few decades here. Um, you'd see a lot of things. Like, everybody was always talking about welding, fabrication, and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of just sort of decided that welding, learning how to weld was going to be like the number one thing. Okay, let's learn how to weld. I also was really, really interested in machining and stuff like that. So we went down to our local tech school and just got right into it. We applied for both of us went into welding. Machining was a huge multi-year wait list. So I was like, I'm just gonna learn how to weld too. Did that, got into industrial fabrication, and that kind of led us down the path of I don't know, learning how to project manage, weld, fabrication, blah blah blah. That was that. But
Yeah.
where Trick Factory kind of begins in our core is kind of like almost a story based on spite.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
So,
Juicy. Okay, I want to hear this.
all right. So I'm sure every one of us has kind of been told at one point in time of our lives, like, oh, you can't do that. Nah, why bother? It's like, you know what? Actually, I can do that. So there was a time when one of our local speed shops, they used to retail all these kinds of things, and we were kind of just getting into the scene. We'd go down there, we'd look at all the really cool shiny bits, stainless exhaust systems and whatnot, and you'd look at the price tag and you're just like floored at how expensive it is. And you're like, oh my God, we're young bucks, right? Just trying to come up in the world.
Hmm.
And it's like, I can't afford that. That's outrageous price. The dude behind the counter is like, well, I mean, you could always just go build it yourself. And it's like,
Hell yeah.
we're gonna. And so we did. And that's kind of where it began. And like, I would have to, I mean, I like to imagine that it's evolved a lot more beyond just spite to drive us now. I mean, there's kind of still a little bit right there too. Always trying to prove ourselves, trying to get better, trying to, become, in pursuit of perfection kind of thing. But what drives myself, my partner Tim, and I like to think our little team here at TrickFactory Customs. I think what drives us more now on the daily is trying to inspire each and every one of us
Yeah.
to achieve a higher level and kind of push ourselves into an area where we've never been before. Like it's putting ourselves into an uncomfortable situation intentionally puts us in it puts us sort of like we sort of just keep climbing the tier levels of what we can achieve. And with that, each and every one of us comes to work every day and we're kind of all kind of stoked to be here, you know? Like it's just beautiful little
Yeah.
thing. So it's kind of evolved beyond spite and pursuit of perfection
Yeah.
and screw you kind of thing
Yeah.
to, I want to see what you can achieve
Mhm.
and I want to see what you can achieve. And all of us together as a team, as a collective, is what can we do together? So
Yeah.
combining that with things like Autodesk, Fusion, and all this new tech that just seems to be hammering us all the time, like trying to stay on top of that is kind of a big driving force now. So that's the short form version
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
where we came from.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome. Yeah, and I love that. You mentioned like being uncomfortable, trying things that are uncomfortable. And that goes back to that saying of like if you try something to if you're trying something uncomfortable every single day, that helps you grow, right? It helps you grow
absolutely.
as a
Mhm.
person, helps you be more adaptable to change. And
Mhm.
the fact that you've kind of built that in your culture, I think that's
Yeah.
that's sick. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
it's hard, but like I mean, it's worth pursuing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, we know some of the origin story now. How did you, Alex, and Elvis meet Rob and Tim? Like, how did you guys start here?
You who wants to go? I feel like it was a similar.
So since you started first, why don't you share first?
Okay, so no, for me, years ago, if you know Larry Chen, he's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
very established photographer, amazing person, and he makes YouTube videos on amazing builds or cars that he sees and builders. And
Have you met
so I
him? Have
think
you
it
met
was,
Larry Chan?
Yeah.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah. We
Oh,
met him at
bro.
Big
SEMA.
fan.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in 2019, I was I saw this video after SEMA. After usually SEMA happens once a year in Las Vegas
Sure.
around October, November. And so I saw this video that came out because everyone is always looking at, oh my gosh, what are the coolest cars
Yeah.
that come out of SEMA? And so one of the cars was a Mercedes 190E.
Mhm.
It was like 1,000+ horsepower. It was insane, like the amount of work that went into it and just how it looked, how it sat, the stance, everything that was done to that thing
You're talking
was
about Tim's car. You
amazing.
talking about
Yeah,
Tim's car?
Tim's car.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So that was so they built the car.
Yeah.
And so I had seen his face was forever ingrained in my head. And so
For better or worse.
I know. So I actually used to live in Los Angeles. I used to live in California. And then when I moved here after I got married, I was like looking for jobs, and I'm a creative, so like I do videos and run a company where I make videos. And so I was like looking for a job at this point. First job in Canada, I was like, oh, let's see what. And I used to be in tech, so I was in software
Ah,
development. But I was like, I wanted to go more in depth into creation, and I wanted to be a builder, but I never had any formal training, like nothing, like compared to where they're at now. Like I'm still like a basics, and so I wanted to grow more in that. And so one day I was just scrolling and saw this job on like Indeed or something, and then I was like, oh,
okay.
what is that? And then I clicked on it, and then I went to their website, and I was like, wait, this is the same guy that was, or these are the same guys that were on the video. I was like, no way. And I went to watch the
Jackpot.
video again, and it was the same guys. I was like, what? And so I applied, and then they were looking for like a content creator. And then I came here, and I saw them. I was like, oh my gosh. And so like Tim tells it like this. I almost like I applied, but I was like, yo, I'm working here now. Just
Yeah.
that's it. I'm gonna show up on Monday and start.
I know that's exactly what it was like. Elvis showed up with all of his gear. He was ready to rock and roll. Like right as soon as he walked through the door, he's basically like, "I work here now, and job done. Let's go."
Yeah, yeah.
So that
Hey,
was
that
pretty cool.
eagerness paid off. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been really great. So Elvis has been an excellent addition to our team. Kind of really helped us grow emotionally, I don't know. Yeah, well, in every way,
Yeah.
media wise, everything.
Yeah, because like on Instagram, like when I started, it was still like they wanted someone like to make more because Instagram had become like kind of like speaking into them wanting to improve all the time. Is like
Yeah.
media or Instagram, YouTube, all of those things have become very popular compared to like print media days and all of that. And so they were like, oh, we need someone to make more stuff, more content, and kind of like know the space. And I had done that for a number of years, working with a lot of clients and all that. So I was like, oh, might as well. And then I also the car content, the car thing was also there because I wanted something that I could chase my passions and not just I was in tech. Sure, it was like good for like it was nice, but it was corporate job, all the things.
Yeah.
But it's still nothing like this. Like it's like
Yeah.
when everyone is into cars, like everyone here loves cars. Like we all literally talk. It's almost too much. We talk about cars here. Like at lunch table, we other cars. We're like, yo, look at this thing on marketplace, or what should I do to my car? Or even now that I'm building my car or my Datsun, we might talk about it later, but I bring it to them because I am not formally trained in any of this stuff. So I'm like designing all my stuff in Fusion. I'm building a chassis for my Datsun. And so I'm like, I bring it to them and I'm like, so would this bracket be strong enough? Like, how does the design look? Is this more function over form or vice versa? So they've helped me a lot to grow through the years. And so it's been awesome. So yeah, Alex, you can,
Yo, you guys need a shirt. You guys need a shirt that says like "Eat, Sleep,
I know.
Trick" or "Eat, Sleep, Kill."
Eat, sleep, cars. Eat, sleep,
that's
cars.
literally
or
what you guys
something.
do, which is
Literally.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what'd you say?
Good idea.
TFC for life. That's like a little.
Yeah, there you go.
saying.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can share a little bit about how I came about to working here. So I've been working here for 2 years now, but I've met these guys a little bit before that. So long story short, my parents own a sushi restaurant like up the street. And I remember I was helping out here and there when I was still in school studying mechanical engineering. And then I remember like watching that same SEMA video that Elvis was talking about that Larry Chen did of Tim's Evo. And I was like, wait a minute, this guy looks so familiar, right? And I know, yeah, and then I asked my mom, who works there all the time, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, it's the same guy." So they started chatting about how I go to school and then how I found out about the shop. So then they invited me down to the shop. Yeah, I think I was still in like second or third year, still in school, and then from then I took a tour on the shop, and then they called me in for a project. Just to kind of see, how I can help out.
Yeah.
It was a Delahaye that's over there in the window over there. It was a
30
something, yeah, super old.
French car.
Yeah, so but it was a
Sick.
project where we had to convert an old coilover system to a modern coilover. So I helped that out when I was still in school, and then after that, I used to come by every Saturday here and there, trying to help out some for design stuff using Fusion. So yeah, and then after that, and then I did that for like a couple years, and then I finished school, and yeah, I had a corporate job in the summertime, and I hated it because I went to school knowing that I wanted to work in the automotive field, and then yeah, after I actually finished school, Tim offered me a position here, and then the rest is history, I guess. I've
That's
been here
awesome.
since.
Because like we threw him into the deep end with that Delahaye project.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
We gave him like a task that was seriously above his level, and he knocked it out of the park. So
That's amazing,
He
yeah.
created this beautiful little thing. It's like a masterpiece in engineering, and
Just pumping your
There you
tires.
go. There you go.
hey,
I love it.
it was really good. So that was kind of like a thing. Well, you kind of have to see where a person is kind of at. Like,
Yeah.
it's not more. It's like whether or not they can complete the job is one thing. It's how they process and like just the character of a human that you're testing, right? Are you up to a challenge?
Yeah.
Because if so, welcome to the team.
Yeah, I had to prove myself for 2 years, I think. coming to the shop here and
It
there.
never ever's gonna end. It gets harder and harder every day.
You always gotta improve.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that philosophy. Well, I had to ask you, Alex, since your parents own a sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
Do you have a Trueno? I know it's not a tofu. It's not a tofu
Trueno? What's that?
shop, but I feel like you need a Trueno.
Oh, like the
86.
Toyota, like initial D.
Yeah,
Oh,
you need a
Trueno, like-
you need a Trueno 86.
Yeah. With the logo
And,
G-Wagon.
and put your sushi restaurant logo on, dude. That would be sick. That would be
that'd be
sick.
sick. I never
That
thought of
was-
that idea.
Yo, tell your parents to get a Toronto.
Oh,
It's an investment.
It's an investment. Yeah.
Yo,
deductible.
delivering food.
And then drift it.
Yeah.
that'd be sick.
That would be pretty cool.
Actually smart. Yeah.
E36,
Yo, no, E36. Yo.
maybe. Yeah.
Sick, man. Okay, I'm gonna move on to my next question here, and it's more about process. And it's more about how your shop operates. So let's play this hypothetical. I drove Miatas. I love my NC Miata that I had. I had an ND Miata. And I've only done some minor modifications to it, wheels, tires, coilovers. But what if I were to take an NA Miata, like a 1990 Miata, and wanted to go all out? I take it to you guys and I say, hey, I want an LS engine swap. I want aero kit, maybe like a what is that called? But Rocket Bunny kit. What is the process? How would you go about doing that? Like, what do you guys go through?
Well, I mean, so processes like that, I mean, you can just imagine they might be pretty extensive, right? I mean, you automatically know that it's going to be pretty major, even if you don't know anything about the process. So it kind of comes down to, for me, I like to know, what is your intention with this vehicle? All right. Like, do you intend to
I wanna
just
track it.
look at it?
I want to
Do you
track
want
it.
like, is it a static art piece, or is it like a full blown track car
Yeah.
that you want to like actually take out on track reliably? Or the other side of it is this just a street car that you want to be able to take to track and still look good? Because there's three very distinct differences in that. What it comes down to is understanding what your intention is, and once you know that, then it kind of sets the sort of tone as to where to go with each and every part of the process of choices. Okay, wheel choices, tire choices, shock choices, body kit choices. Like even if the Rocket Bunny was a thing, that's what you want, that's fine. But if you want to take it out and actually thrash on it, you might need to invest in making it so that the accessibility, the removability of, say, the over fenders is something that you can pop off on the side, in the pits at the track. You want to make that kind of stuff a thing. But in the street car, that's not really going to be something that you do, right? Now, you want to be able to take it off because that means it's on there really well as well. But more sort of thought goes into, can it handle the rigors of the shock loading, on the street and all that kind of stuff? And will it still look good 5 years from now compared to the 5 minutes it rolled out of the shop? So process is kind of like intention based. And then, yeah, that's basically it. The core of it is, what is your intention?
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's about it. So,
And something you've also kind of mentioned is sticking with that too. I mean, sometimes being able to like be fluid about it, but kind of like trying to stay true to the process or what the car should be, because sometimes it can kind of get out of hand, especially with seeing Instagram. You're like, oh, this trophy truck looks sick. Let's make the Miata a trophy truck. And then, so that way it kind of removes the original intention there. And then it can take longer. It can complicate the build. And so kind of like sticking to that kind of makes life easier.
That's so true. Like once we've established what the intention is, and sort of what your wish list and your want list of parts and whatever is, then we dig into like, okay, now, we'll go on over to our automotive designer and we'll sketch up a rendering and we'll get that sort of set in stone. This is exactly what we want it to look like as a concept. And then it goes over to Alex in the design engineer department, and he will figure out how to actually make that real. Now, Alex and I have like an ongoing conversation every single day about ways to achieve certain things. Because, as we just established, Alex is fairly new to the field. So he's learning as we go every project. I've been at this now for a while. So I'm old world though, right? Because I've been doing everything like maybe, cardboard and you make templates and then I
Sure.
hand
Yeah.
cut things out, old world
The
stuff.
original CAD,
So yeah,
cardboard aided
That's right.
design.
so Alex and I we'll look at things and sort of just I'll talk to him about through my experience, this is how I would approach this. This is kind of what these things need to be. And then he'll introduce more of like the engineering into certain things. Like, is that actually strong enough? Will that do the job? Can we get away with potentially choosing a different material choice or a different sort of process in which to achieve the
Mm,
goal, right?
yeah.
So it goes from the design department to basically Alex and myself,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then straight out onto the shop floor. And,
Yeah, that
that's
that's where I wanted to get at is that dichotomy between like, what your experience,
Mhm.
Rob, what you have as experience, and then what Alex brings too, and how you two would work together. I think
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. It's kind of like the you need the old way of doing things with and then paired with kind of the newer tech and what's
Yeah.
available today to
Yeah.
actually make a build that's unique and purposeful, right? I think
Yeah.
that's the thing is it's got to be purposeful. I see a lot of like images on online renders and people and comments are like, "Oh man, this is sick. Like I would love this." And it's like, dude, like are you like how are you actually going to use this car? And
Yeah.
that's never really talked about. It's just kind of to get attention. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think you pointed out there's a difference between attention and intention. That's
So
like
true.
super super
And
Come on.
important.
That
Yeah.
should go on a shirt.
That's right. Yo, we are yo
there's another
merch.
one.
Yeah.
TO2.
What's the other one?
Well, that's another shirt, a great shirt one.
Take
Yeah,
two.
TFC
that's
for life.
two amazing
Oh,
ideas
oh
right
my
there.
gosh.
It's
Okay.
okay. All right. I was digging. I was digging in now.
Digging a little
It's okay.
Love
That's
it.
really well put, and it is very much this that. Like so, for me, because I am old world, I have to like I've intentionally gone out of my way to learn fusion.
Mm,
Like I don't use it on the daily, but I do understand sort of the processes as an entry point. So with that little bit of knowledge that I have, when I go and speak with Alex and he's like deep in the weeds now, um, I can kind of understand like where he's at and I can see the process and understand like, it's easy for me to say, "Oh, can't you just do this?" and then point and blah blah blah. And then Alex is like, "Oh, all right, man." So we try to eliminate as much of that as possible by having like a more open communication at the very beginning. Like it's that attention
yeah.
versus intention thing. Like we know that from the beginning, so we can design accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. I'm gonna switch gears and talk about Mercedes 190Es. Okay.
All right.
So last time I talked to Tim, who's the founder or the other co-founder of TrickFactory Custom, he had mentioned that he's worked with a lot of 190Es, and the car that Larry Chen covered is basically a glorified 190E on like steroids, right?
No doubt.
So tell me about what makes them stand out. Like why this particular platform that's interesting to you or to Tim.
Well, I mean, we can all kind of like look at that car and there's something about it that we see.
Uh,
Like we don't really know what it is, but something inside of our soul or our memories, we remember seeing that car. Um, you can kind of reflect back to say like the old racing era, like the
yeah.
DTM race cars, the Mercedes versus BMW versus, the Audis and whatnot back in the day. And the Mercedes was like a very, very, very accomplished race car. And we
Mm.
we remember seeing like that glory day of racing and what it kind of represented. Like we all just sort of dreamed of ever seeing something like that in real life.
Yeah, and
But
Senna raced in one.
he
Ayrton
did.
Senna raced in one. Yeah.
Oh, actually? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
so that was kind of like what kicked off his career, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So when so Tim, he's kind of had this sort of love affair with that car for a long, long, long time. like his entire life, and he's always kind of loved it, wanted it, and I can relate. Like it's a great car. Um, there's like it's kind of like pushing into areas of uncomfortability, like choosing a platform in which to create something unique is a really challenging thing to do nowadays because like so many things have been done. But the 190 is a really interesting platform car because you see it, you recognize that it was a great race car. Well, we wanted to take it to a whole nother level. Um, and essentially remove everything that was kind of Mercedes about it to an extent and replace it with something a lot more modern, but
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
different
yeah.
thing.
But you're like augmenting its, I guess it's like capabilities, right? In a way.
Yeah, and like to be honest, the 190E, the Evil Evo is so far augmented that it is not a good track car.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people might think that it looks like it might be, but it's really not. And it's not really because its intention was more in attention.
Sure, sure, sure. I get that. Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
I can almost imagine that car in like Forza Horizon or something. And then
Mm.
as soon as you hit the accelerator, it just start tire spinning.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
couldn't even
Yeah, I
move.
built that car on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
horrible.
I know because when you think of a track car, you don't usually think of a car having 1,000+ horsepower because
Yeah.
it's not. I don't think that's very usable on a track because
I mean,
today
that's the
with
cars I build in Forza Horizon. Okay,
Same.
let's just say
Same.
that.
yeah, with Instagram and YouTube, it feels like every car has 1,000 horsepower. But if you're actually going to use it for like track uses, you wouldn't have that much power because you would not, without like the proper traction control systems and torque management, you're not going to be able to put down that power to get the optimal lap times if you're
Right.
chasing that.
Or even
So,
to achieve 1,000 horsepower, it takes a lot of effort.
yes.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people truly understand what it takes to actually achieve 1,000 wheel horsepower. I mean, you can do it. There's plenty of motor platforms out there that will do it. But
Yeah.
but the LS platform, which the Evil Evo has, is kind of tried and true. It's proven. It's almost too easy to make horsepower with it. And that can come at the detriment of drivability.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So fortunately today we have like amazing technology to sort of like grasp like I think like talking torque management, traction control, boost by gear, all of these things.
Mm,
These are all things that are now accessible given the right ECU. And that one uses an M-tron. It's a great piece. It makes it somewhat usable, somewhat.
yeah.
It does have like different program levels. You can set it. Right now it's on full send. So as soon as it just barely touches boost, it just literally lights the tires up and it's
Yeah.
savage.
Oh man.
But it makes everybody smile, and
Yeah.
that's more the intention of what it was for.
Mhm.
Mm,
Um, we've been sort of like in the process of evolving that car. So it is a
ooh.
190 Evolution
Ah.
uh,
Ding.
that just will continue for us forever because it was one of those sort of, let's push into new areas of uncomfortability, to learn new things, and that car was an example of that for us.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
Mhm.
That's
Um,
awesome.
it's brought a team together
Yeah.
just through
Literally.
its creation.
Without
So
that car, we would not even be here. So.
yeah,
That's right. Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
again, you talked about the evolution, but the cool part again about it is the evolution of that car because it's not what it originally was like four,
Yeah.
5 years ago when it was built.
Right.
And Tim keeps on dropping add like additions to it because he's like, oh, this is not like even like cooling. It's not as efficient as it needs to be. Let's make it more efficient and figure out ways that you can. And so
Right.
Alex did a bunch of CAD work on that
Yeah.
stuff to making the cooling system
Yeah.
as efficient as possible, and he can dive into that. But it
Yeah,
was
like
really cool.
I said, like making 1,000 horsepower reliably is so hard. So then packaging something that wasn't originally there, which is the custom work that we do, and for the cooling system that Elvis talked about is one of the things that we did on that car.
The
So
radiators in the trunk.
Yeah,
That's-
radiators in the trunk because there's no room with the twin turbos in the front of it. So we designed a whole new louver system where activates by the M-tron with the temp scope to
Temp
operating
sensor.
temp. Yeah, so things like that. It's been pretty cool. being part of
Yeah.
the evolution process, using this technology that I can bring to the table
Mhm.
to make these changes that actually, make the car work like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and even like the hinge like mechanism and all the stuff. Like when Alex puts in like the use joints for that, right?
Yeah,
Or
the
no,
joints
yeah,
feature, yeah.
like seeing the way everything works.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so
But I think
cool.
another process of how we go about designing these things, most of the time Tim and Rob come up with these crazy ideas to like, okay, I want this to do that, and then I kind of have to make sure it works in that way. So that's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But I think another thing that kind of gets neglected in the design process is coming up with the design in the first place, right? We recently did a custom like front splitter rear wing on a Skylark. But it's one thing to be able to design an infusion, but it's another thing to make sure the design looks good in the first place, which is what Rob and Tim always kind of make sure is down before we get on to the design phase.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I'll tell you this, when I found out about you guys when I saw the video of, I think it's either you, Rob, or Tim, actuating that like
Yeah, the air.
louver, or it was it the actual spoiler, and it just goes
Yeah.
funk, and
Yeah.
then Tim was like, "Whoa!" And then I was on my phone like, "Oh, what the?" And then that's when I started following you guys more, and yeah, I mean that was, and I'm like, "Oh, they use Fusion too." That was
Yeah.
how it all started. So no, it
So
was so
awesome.
cool to see that on content captured.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, this is a good segue into the Paradigm project.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that because that's also a 190e platform, but
That's right.
it looks very different. It's a lot more to me. It looks a lot more like cyberpunky kind of a build. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about that car and what are you guys doing with it?
So the paradigm is like a completely different.
Everything.
It is a whole new evolution of the 190 platform based on the design language that the 190 brings to the table already. So Ash Thorpe and Carlos Color Sponge of Make Haste Corp, they're the ones that designed the car. So
Ashthorpe designed the Batmobile, the new Batmobile.
that's right.
Oh,
So
what?
anybody
No way.
listening,
Oh,
you
you didn't
guys
know this? Yeah.
go check out Make Haste Corp
Yeah.
because these two guys are phenomenal
Incredible.
designers.
Incredible.
Like we're talking top tier.
Amazing humans too. So
Um, they designed this car and reached out to us because they know we have a love affair with the 190. And they're like, "Hey, you guys want to build this car?" And we're like, "Obviously, let's go." And so the car kind of just became a thing where we're like, we're all in now. And I think the car is a pretty I don't even begin to know how to. You can't really explain it. Like you said, it's kind of cyberpunky. It is an entirely new thing.
Hmm.
It's not like some sort of takeoff, sort of stylized version of the Evo 2 body kit, like the Evo kind of is. It's a new
yeah,
thing
the whole
altogether.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this car, because of like the language that they put into it, where they went with it, we felt obligated to go to a completely new place with this one as well.
Mm.
Um, so essentially, what we're gonna be redoing is everything in the whole underpinnings of the body is gonna be entirely bespoke.
Wow.
So it's not really a Mercedes anymore at this
Wow.
point.
Yeah.
Not
It's a
at all.
TFC.
It's gonna
Yeah.
look Mercedes-ish.
So
Yeah, it's a TFC. Yeah.
So we're getting pretty deep into this project now, and everybody's going to start seeing a lot of the process through Fusion that Alex is working on because we have to design the whole chassis and everything for it. Couple of bullet point pieces for this project. It's using the M120 Mercedes V12 engine. This is a
That's an
6-liter V12.
Pagani, the one that Pagani uses pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Essentially, they
So the
yeah,
base platform is what Horatio from Pagani has been using forever.
they modified
So
it, but yeah.
we're going to be using that because if anybody out there listening, watching has ever heard that
Oh,
engine with straight pipes, it is absolutely
Glorious.
symphonic.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
One of
Like
the
it
best
sounds like
sounding-
Formula One car.
Yeah.
So that's what drew us to that motor as the beginning.
I have goosebumps just listening.
Fired up.
It's exciting.
so
man.
sweet.
For real. It's exciting. So we're gonna be using the M120. We're gonna pair that with a BMW DCT trans because we absolutely want those rev match downshifts and just hear that thing just bah, bah, bah. That's what we want. So that's what we're moving towards. We're gonna probably go with something a little bit more basic in the rear, the tried and true Ford 8.8 independent rear diff, because it is a bulletproof platform. It works great. Um, Suspension arm geometry and everything probably is gonna be more so like C6, C7 Corvette related geometries.
Mm.
So this is like one of those kind of things because it's tried and true. Like OEM has R&D'd this. It's an absolutely phenomenal, platform to start with. So we're gonna take all that information. I'm gonna be like, here, Alex, make this work.
That's right.
But I want it to be cooler because I want to have cantilever, cantilever suspension, coilovers. I want to have a hydraulic over coilover setup so I can raise and lower the car via hydraulics without affecting the ride quality of the coilover suspension. So that's a must-have. See, this is that wish list, want list thing. So
Sure.
touching
Yeah.
a little bit on this right now. So full tube chassis, the whole body is going to be carbon composite. So we're in the process of creating the whole body on it right now. And it's going to be rolling on HRE wheels. They came on board to be part of our one of
Amazing,
our
yeah.
partners. We're
Yeah.
pretty excited about that.
Toyo tires.
Yeah.
Toyo tires, obviously. So
This is like a global effort, right? You've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
a German engine,
So
you got
yeah.
American bones, and you've got Canadian craftsmanship with
Yeah.
what are HREs? Swiss? Are they Swiss?
No, they're
company?
American.
yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah, and American
California.
shoes. That's right.
Yeah.
yeah,
We have
Yeah,
Fusion
it's
also.
a global
Fusion.
thing.
Yo.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
With
we're
the
glad to
help
have
of
you guys
Fusion.
on. Yeah.
For
Love it.
real.
I love it.
Sponsorship. Yeah.
We couldn't do it without Fusion 360.
That's right.
Love it.
Autodesk, thank you.
And then is the goal
And Haltech,
oh, yeah.
obviously, as our ECU.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
But like
right.
we're pretty deep in the weeds right now, and we have a pretty short order to fill because we want to take it to SEMA this year.
That's right. I was
Which
gonna ask, is that the goal?
Quite
Literally like 4 months or
Yeah. 4 months.
Oh my
The
god.
beginning of July right now is
Yeah,
because
it's
of this.
kind of
So the paradigm is something that we're all really, really excited about. Those goosebumps that you're feeling, that's how we feel too. And every time we talk about this, I can't help but feel the exact same thing. And the people that we talk about it, they seem to have the same response. So we're getting a lot of really great partners to come on board with this. And I cannot wait for this thing to become a reality because this is something that we've been working towards for a long time. This is another, probably a couple more levels of uncomfortability, that we're working towards on this one because we're pushing ourselves into a space that we've not been before. Like we've done like tube chassis stuff. I have a personal tube chassis project, my little Datsun Z car that, has kind of been shelved for a little bit, to be honest, but we know we got this. All we got to do is engineer it and build it.
Love it.
Easy.
I know easy. No,
Yeah.
Speak into the mic and let it be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
That's
Fusion
awesome.
have that kind of AI to be like, yo, help me make this? Yet? No.
We're working on it. There's a lot of talk and a lot of effort put into AI now. So especially within
And-
Autodesk. So yeah, it's
I know you have the
definitely-
auto dimension thing.
Yeah.
auto constraint.
That's,
Yeah.
that's so good. Oh, it's amazing.
Okay, that was awesome. Let's talk a bit about community and the car community in as a whole. So this past month in June, you guys hosted your first car show. It's called the Curated Custom Car Show. And the whole idea around this is to showcase interesting builds, right? Builds that showcase innovation or some new aspect of fabrication, design, and the idea, even if it was not done, even if it's in process. We saw Remy the bee there that's just, on kind of half done with the chassis all welded up. And on one of your videos, you had mentioned that you kind of borrowed this idea from the Toyo stand in SEMA.
Yeah.
When I heard this, it immediately piqued my interest because you're not seeing cars, kind of the same exotics all the time. It's a lot more interesting. So, what made you want to put on this show yourself, or for the Vancouver community?
Well, I mean, where we live, okay, so like where we live, it seems to me like our community is a little bit divisive. Like
Mm,
it's always been like this here. It's a little bit clicky, you know. Um, we've been at it long enough now that we're just kind of tired of that. We want people to sort of all come together as one and appreciate all the different builds, all the different styles, all the different levels of abilities, all of these things. These are all wonderful things for everyone to see, to recognize, to participate in. And so that was, a big part of why we wanted to do that. Um,
yeah.
Another thing, for the curated custom car shows, we just wanted to see unique cars, even motorcycles, whatever it was that had like a really cool story.
Mm,
Like behind every single build, there's a really cool story, a really cool person. Somebody has done something. They put their passion into something, whether or not it is executed to like top tier level or not, it really doesn't matter. The passion behind the project is kind of what's more important. That's what we wanted to bring to sort of to light for everyone to appreciate. And so the curated custom car show, I believe, and from my conversations with everybody, achieved that very thing.
yeah.
Very unique cars. Like you were saying at the beginning, like from the 28 blower Bentley
Yeah.
all the way to like, Remy the Bee, like an unfinished MG trophy truck style of build, to like hill climb race cars, or really, really, really rare exotic cars like that Ferrari F40
Yeah.
Oh,
that was at the show. Like absolutely stunning cars. Each and every one of them is a really cool car. Like, like or hate a certain style, that's something that's very personal to you. You can appreciate that it's there, and right next to that is something entirely different. You're like,
Mm.
what is going on here? I like it though, and that's what we wanted people to feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this was our first annual, and I like to think, and we all kind of believe the same, is that this is something that we'll do every year,
Mm.
and it's going to keep on getting bigger and better. I don't necessarily, actually, when I say bigger, I don't think it's going to get any bigger than really, really what it was. I think we all kind of appreciated the size of that. Like we had 22 really, really great builds in that building. The
Mm.
venue itself was beautiful for that too. I don't know if we'll ever get much bigger than that amount of cars, maybe one or two, but the idea and pursuit of something even more
Yeah.
inclusive, something more to offer the attendees, the people that brought their special projects out to tell the world all about it.
Yeah.
Um, that's something that we want to pursue, and it's going to get better with
Yeah.
every year.
That's the curated part, right? Like
The
yeah,
curated,
you're
very.
that's right.
curating. Yeah. Yeah. That's
That's
awesome.
right, exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was awesome to do. It has been a long, long time since we've done a car show,
Yeah.
because like in the past, like what nobody sees is like we put on trade shows in the
Ah.
background. Like we've done 16 years in a row now of our local tattoo show. We've been doing that every single year here. And now we're getting back into doing the car stuff. One thing that most people don't understand, like, know, is that the very first show that Tim and I ever did, it was actually called the King of Customs, and we did that in 2008. So that was kind of a
Mhm.
cool. So it's like a full circle back to doing
Yeah.
car and motorcycle stuff
Mhm.
and showcasing like really, really cool things. So
Yeah. Love that. Love that. That's so
yeah,
cool. It was so cool to hear that background. Um, Okay, before we wrap up, we're getting up to that time now, but before we wrap up, I want to throw at you guys some quick fire questions. And these are kind of like this or that kind of a question, just to get a sense of what you guys like and where your head's at, right? So this is just more around the car culture and different things about cars. So are
go.
you guys ready?
Yeah.
Do it.
Ready.
All right, we can do Alex and then Rob and then Elvis. Okay, we can go in
Sure,
that
sure.
order.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds
so
good.
first question is JDM Euro or domestic?
Euro for me.
Euro for me too.
JDM, man. Come on.
Oh, oh.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because you said you had a Datsun. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he has a Datsun
I have a
too. So I
Datsun
don't know,
too.
but I think you also have like an M5. So you're a Euro guy. Porsche.
I'm Euro.
Yeah,
Right
you're
on.
Euro.
I'm a Euro guy.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. Okay,
What
next
about
question.
you? What about whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
me.
What about you?
Yes.
I would say I'm probably more
JDM?
JDM. Yeah, I'm probably more JDM.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Automatic or manual?
Oh,
come on,
manual,
man.
easy. Manual.
Come on, man. Anything other than manual is not even a car.
I mean, whoa.
like
What
a
about
Well,
Paradigm,
what
man?
about
Yo.
dual clutch flappy paddles?
Manually shifting your
Mercedes? Yeah.
Technically.
Oh,
But the Porsche DCT is so nice.
so
dude.
good.
Yeah.
It's
True,
so
true.
good.
True.
I guess it just
Manual
depends on
trends.
purpose, but manual though, any
Yeah.
day, any day.
Yeah,
PDK.
same,
Who
same.
doesn't
same.
want to feel connected like that? Like it's about the process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
What about the efficiency of the PDK though?
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't
Gotta
argue
save the
that.
manuals.
You can't argue that.
Save the manuals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, next question. Supercharger or turbo?
Turbocharged for me for the sound of it.
Man, that's a tough one, but I would have to say turbo because you can tune them,
Mm.
you know? You can
I'm
tune them
just gonna
instantly.
say what?
Not the whine, not the
noises, man.
Yeah.
There's no escaping
Yeah, there's
that.
no escaping that.
I mean, the supercharger whine is pretty good though. Like on the Hellcat.
Hellcat?
Oh, it sounds so good.
The builder in me, the hands-on builder in me says supercharger because it's simpler.
It's so simple, yeah, compared to turbo and
Yeah.
But the sound of a turbo is just unbeatable.
Yeah.
That's a tough question. What about you, Chicheng? Kacheng,
Cha-ching.
what are you into?
Oh, sorry. Can you ask that question again? I just bumped my mic.
Turbo or supercharger
for you.
for you?
Oh, for me, because I used to drive a Miata, I always thought about like, oh, what if I put a supercharger in the like a supercharged V8?
Mhm.
I don't know much. I haven't had a lot of experience with turbos and to like turbo lag, so I like the idea of like a linear power
Power
band,
band.
right? So supercharger probably for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sense.
Yeah.
Makes
Fair enough. Fair enough. Today, we don't have to worry about lag anymore.
True. Yeah,
Nice,
with
nice.
turbos and modern
Yeah.
technology is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I love that.
That's a
Anti-lag.
tough one though, man. You could go either way.
Or you can
Yeah,
go both.
yeah.
Yo, twin charged.
Twin.
charge.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 What do I choose?
Snowball keeps getting bigger.
Exactly. Scope creep.
Yep. All right. Next question. Rear wheel drive, front wheel drive, or all wheel drive?
For me, I love doing donuts, so I gotta go rear wheel drive.
And same, dude. Rear wheel drive, front rear is the best.
That's right.
I like rear-wheel drive, but
Yeah.
I also love the benefits that all-wheel drive has because especially, I mean, we don't live in the worst part of Canada. But we still have some snow. So I like to be able to still get to work in the morning.
So I had a 94 Miata actually that I used to drive in the snow to work
Hell
all
yeah.
the time.
But
Yeah.
you got stuck in a parking lot one day
That was one
and you walked
time,
home.
but everybody else got stuck too.
I did not
His
get
car
stuck.
was slammed to the ground. Like literally.
Oh, that's
it was
why.
a snow shovel.
But it was so fun driving
Yeah,
that
but
thing in the snow.
I just
Yeah.
like my all-wheel drive cars and all
Sure.
weather. So and the fact that these days you can choose between like all-wheel drive cars now have like a torque split, so
The
good.
bias, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yes.
Like the
yes.
new GR Corollas and
Yes.
yeah,
That's
so-
cool.
Yeah.
Rear
You
wheel
can
drive,
put snow
man.
tires.
No,
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, rear wheel drive.
Yeah,
Like, because
Yeah.
who doesn't like having?
I guess so. Yeah,
Even when it's snowing, I want to be able to feel
It's still fun.
feel the slide.
Yeah, you want to feel the danger.
Know that at any moment
Yeah.
you could potentially get stuck. And
Code Brown.
It's to the thrill.
Yeah, Code Brown.
I mean, let's go.
Okay, last question: form or function?
Oh, as an engineer, I would have to say function.
No, psh.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Oh man,
Well, actually, let me rephrase: form
Yeah.
over function or function over form. That's the more appropriate, I think, question.
No, so yeah, function over form for sure. But I think mostly what we do here, though, like we try to have a balance of both, because I think nowadays, like visual is so important on the car, because that's what we were drawn to, right? When we see something, so I try to really keep that form, but also the function, but like over top of that,
Yeah.
and make sure it actually works.
Yeah.
Honestly, like without the function being the primary, it's just a paperweight, man.
Right.
Like it's just a toy.
Yeah.
Function all the way for sure.
Yeah.
So I used to.
He's a confident guy, guys.
Yeah. So I have
See
my
the stance-
channel,
the stance
Golden
guy?
Drive, like and subscribe.
Whoa.
But no.
Name drop.
But traditionally, I have been more form over function, because I'm like, it has to look cool, and then you worry about, you have pain, you experience pain after when you can't go up a hill because your car is too low or something. So, but now I feel like being at the shop, it's kind of trying to, like they said, achieve a balance of both, because if it can't function, then there's almost no point to the form, in my opinion. But yeah.
And we don't have to decide on that anymore. Like
No.
you can have both.
Right.
Yeah, and
You
even
can
with
have both.
again, plugging Autodesk, it's tools like Fusion, where you can also design stuff too, to know what you're going to end up with. You can actually see, does this actually work? You can test it out with simulations and all of that in Fusion.
Yeah,
So,
and then with having technologies like mesh, like scanning, it's even it takes a step a little bit closer to make sure that it works, through Fusion, and making sure it looks good, fits well, and does what it's supposed to do. So I think it's been a great process so far, making sure both of them gets the checklist.
I think that you start to develop form through proper function. Like there's a beauty in the form if it functions well, regardless of what it's actually intended for.
Right. And like
Well
we
put.
talked about
Yeah.
what the process is, for us building cars here, like the purpose behind it is so important. And what's the point of it looking cool if it doesn't do anything, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Well put. Well put. Love that. Love that. All right, Alex, Rob, Elvis, thank you so much for being on the show. This was so fun to do. I loved our conversation. I hope I get to see Paradigm in person
That would
when
be
it's
so
all when it's
awesome.
all done. But yeah, thank you so much for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure for us. This has been really fun. We got to do it again.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I need to get on your show.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I know. You can come on our
That'd be
show.
sick.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Right. Let's do
Modify with TrickFactory Customs. If you guys want to check out our previous podcast.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, I don't know if we mentioned that yet or not, but
that. No, we didn't, did we?
no.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So for people that are still listening, if they haven't tuned out yet, Modify with TrickFactory Customs is our podcast name, and I guess you can find us on Instagram and YouTube at TrickFactory Customs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
Sweet.
thank you guys again for
Yeah,
supporting
thank you.
us, for supporting the builds and all the crazy stuff that we do. And yeah, so I know it's like Autodesk is one of those companies that I'm like, we've seen it so many years and we've used all the tools.
Yeah.
And so it's like oh shoot, Autodesk Fusion. And to have that relationship with you guys, it's like, it's actually wild. So
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Being
pleasure.
part of the creators program and having access to ask questions, all of that has been a huge, process for us too. Like, it's pretty cool to be able to like have this relationship, have you guys come to our show and things like that.
Oh, we love it. We're honored. Yeah, absolutely. Happy to support. Hey everyone, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay up to date with all things Chop Talk. If you're ready to try Fusion for yourself, find the link in our descriptions.